All right, good. We're recording. All right, cool. So Brett, you were just showing me your sweatshirt. Let me see it one more time. The
Yeah,
best bar thing.
yeah, best bar.
All right, so we tried to do this podcast the other day. We had some
Yeah,
technical stuff. Like, okay, and y'all were going into the semifinals for the best bar for Barstool Sports. Is that
yeah,
on, or are they still voting?
yeah. We're actually in the finals. So the finals start Wednesday. So we won in the final four. So it's down to two. Us and this. There's a school called Chico State in California.
California.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's a big party school apparently, and so it's us versus them in the finals. So it goes down Wednesday to Friday.
Congrats, man. That's so
Yeah,
awesome. That
thank
is
you.
a party school. I've heard of Chico State for that reason.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never even heard of the school, but they got a big following and people are into it. So we'll
So,
see.
they used to like this will age me, but before you were in Greenville at Sup Dogs, maybe before your brothers and all that stuff, they used to do they had Playboy Magazine would do like the top party schools in the country.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
I remember ECU was like, I mean, that was like a big deal. They won
Yeah.
a number or whatever, but I think Chico State won that. I think that's where I heard of them.
That probably is. I mean, those lists are a big deal.
Yeah, they are. Well, congrats on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just awesome exposure for us. I mean, it's sort of all backed by Barstool, so that once their machine's behind it, it's just it's amazing exposure.
Do you know, like, did they give you results, like number of votes and all that stuff, or you just know?
Yeah. I mean, they you're only allowed to vote like once per Twitter account per round, and they have it all. They have a software that tracks all the votes and to make sure everything's legit. But so we're in good shape. I mean, I don't know how many votes they got last round, but I think we're favored to win, but who knows? I know I just got a text that they think like Aaron Rodgers, is gonna tweet something about them to vote for them. So I'm like, damn, I gotta hit up Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. Who was some of the other ones? Like, didn't you have like Carter Cruz last year?
Yeah, we had a couple like adult film stars. Maddie O'Reilly's another one. She's from North Carolina. Handful of NFL players that played at ECU. PD Pablo, he's a rapper.
Yeah.
A lot of local and some national media. Some radio guys I work with back in DC. So, and obviously the ECU following. So you sort of mix in. And there's actually like there's like a guy who's left ECU to like get into the adult film industry. So he does a lot of recruiting. And he was a huge Sup Dogs guy. So you sort of mix in like everyone, students, families, people of all ages, media, film star, and then hopefully you win the whole thing.
God, this is such an interesting time of year for y'all because you've got that, and then normally you have doggy jams, and you're going to do it next year with Shaq. But if you win, like when you win this thing, you won last year. Y'all didn't even get to celebrate, did you? I mean, it wasn't.
No, yeah, and generally the goal is if you win best college bar in America, Barstool comes down, you throw a massive celebration for thousands of people, and that's what we did in 2019. But this year, if we were to win, obviously they can't throw a mass celebration in North Carolina. So I think there's gonna be a trophy and some prizes and maybe some money that we'll put towards a bigger celebration down the line. But there's not a ton we can do. I mean, even now, like the contest, like I love the exposure. It's amazing. It's the best. But like operationally, they're gonna announce the winner Friday at 8 p.m. So now I'm thinking, first off, I don't even know if we're going to be busy because it's Easter weekend, a lot of kids go home. But then on the other side of that, we could be slammed. And if 1,000 people show up, that's not going to look good if there's news media there and,
oh yeah,
because of COVID stuff. So I'm trying to figure out, I don't want it to be empty because it'll be lame if we win Best College Bar in America and it's empty because of Easter weekend. But on the flip side, if 1,000 people show up, I can only legally fit 120 people in the restaurant. That's when you get police will be involved, and health department and alcohol law enforcement and media. It's just, so operationally, it's just like I'm trying to win, but then I'm trying to figure out Friday at 8 p.m. what's going to happen.
Golly, man, literally a unique problem. Like, you're the only guy in the country that's had to figure that out.
I know, right? But what just speaking of operations, there is, and I've been reading articles. I mean, I felt it, but I've been reading articles. There's just a huge shortage of people working in restaurants right now. Like, even here in Greenville, North Carolina, it's the same way in Chapel Hill. There are restaurants that are closing for dinner and closing on Sundays and Mondays because they don't have the people to fill the shifts.
Unbelievable.
And we're having the same problem. So, like, we were staffed fine, and hours were limited and seating was limited, but then the governor opens up hours. And then everyone expects us to just the next day be able to fill a shift with servers, managers, hosts, food runners, bus. It's a hard time to operate a restaurant. Financially aside, just operationally, it's tough.
The labor issues, man, it is without question. Every single owner I've spoken to, particularly like in the last month, because things are opening up, it's a big deal. They can't find staff. And then there's ones that are looking for, veteran management type folks. I mean, like, that are having to look all over the country kind of thing, when normally you could hire locally or maybe even from within. I guess people just have been out of the working in the business so long. Maybe they've gone and they're doing other things, or are people scared to work, or like, what's the?
No, I think it's the restaurant business is, at least ours, is a weekend. I mean, we're open every day for lunch, but weekends and late nights are a big part of it. And people just got used to not working weekends or nights and not working incredibly busy shifts. Where before COVID, every shift was busy. You're coming in, you're going to grind every minute of every day. And you just kind of got used to it. Now it's some shifts are busy. A lot of days are chill, no late night. Everyone's out of there by 10, 11 p.m. So now we're slowly getting back to, this is going to be really hard and really late and really intense. And you have less people that want to do that. So they either find other jobs, or they get stimulus money or unemployment, and they're able to chill for a little while. So I think it's a combination of a lot of factors, but and I think there are some people that are like, look, 10, 15 bucks an hour, I'm not going to be packed in and hot and catch COVID. But here in North Carolina, the vaccine's available to all restaurant employees. So I think there's a little less of that, but I think initially there was some of people just being apprehensive. So my strategy has been to just try to pay more than everyone. I think that'll work. And it might not. So it's just hard, way harder. Like, when this all hit, my thought was, well, our business won't make any money for a while, but at least there'll be a lot of people that want and need to work.
Yeah.
But that just hasn't been the case. And that's been something that's shocked me, actually. I thought people would be fighting for these jobs, but it's not the case.
It seems like that's maybe just a matter of time, though. I mean, that stimulus money runs out, rent abatement, all that stuff. They keep kicking the can down the road, if you will, but got to stop at some point. But in the meantime, you got to figure out how to run a business with a.
Yeah. And look, I'm not on I'm the least political person ever. I'm just operating a business, but I think as a whole, all that stuff is good for the country as a whole. But just for my business operating, trying to operate a restaurant, it's really tough. Now, and you combine that with, I think customers are, where I think before when COVID first hit, people were a lot more appreciative of restaurant workers showing up and doing the job. Now it's kind of flipped where, there's, if they're going to spend their money and they're going to, take risks coming out of their house, they want the best service, the best food, no excuses. You're lucky I'm here. That mentality's totally shifted.
Really?
I think. Yeah.
I guess people have gotten impatient for it's been so long.
Oh, it's been so long. It's stressful. Everyone's stressed out.
Yeah.
It's just a tough time. And I don't blame customers for feeling that way, but that's just the vibe I get. So you combine that with the employee shortage at every restaurant. It's just a tough combination.
Man, so wild. It's hard to believe it's been a year since you and I were first talking about this. I remember you saying if they close the colleges down, it's going to be a disaster for the restaurants in college towns. That was when early, we didn't know in every college in the country, it's just, it was a cascading thing. And it's such a weird new reality, but the labor thing's a really tough one, man. I hope that turns around because it is without question the biggest issue that every single owner, first thing they mention almost when I catch up with them lately is I can't find anybody to work. And
but I also think it's on operators to adjust. So we need to start treating people better, less out, stop working them 50, 60 hours. I don't work any manager over 40 hours unless we're desperate. And then I just apologize to them and say, look, I'll make it up to you down the road.
Yeah.
Pay them better, treat them better. This is just, I think the days of being a hard ass, work you to the bone, pay you as little as I can, you're lucky to have a job. Those days are over. You gotta appreciate people, pay them well, almost, as much as you can, cater to their wants and needs. Obviously there's a line in the sand, but that's what I do. But there is a line, and I hit the line before, and I say, look, man, take a hike. But it's on operators to adjust as well. But that's the hardest part right now.
Yeah.
But look, that's better than customers not coming to the door. You know what I mean? The flip side is you have too many employees.
Yeah.
You can't keep anyone paid, and customers aren't coming to the door. So this is a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, and that's the thing. It is going to be an ongoing adjustment because people do want to get out big time. I mean, people are getting vaccinated more and more, and they are ready to get out and get back to some sense of what they remember of what a normal life is. Enjoy being out in places like yours, man. It's in good weather. I mean, you got like all this stuff is like this confluence of things are happening all at once. But
so imagine they come out, awesome, I can finally get some drinks, and they want to get back to that normal life. They're really excited. And then you show up to a restaurant that's short staffed, and at no fault of the restaurant owner or the restaurant manager, that's a tough one, because the customer wants that old experience. Meanwhile, restaurants are fighting and clawing to be able to operate. So, but restaurant, if we've made it this far, this is an easy problem.
So are you, how old are your kids now?
I just have one, and she's 4. Yeah.
She's 4 now. Okay. So she's 4. Golly, that's time flies. Are you, right? But you live in Greenville, you and your brother, and then you just commute to how often are you going to Chapel Hill these days?
Yeah, I mean, it's been I go every week, so at least once a week. It just depends on what's going on. If there was a real basketball season and football season, I would have been there more. But Franklin Street and Chapel Hill has been it's been tough. We're one of the busiest businesses on the entire street, and we didn't make any money in 2020. So I'm looking around like, what are these other people doing? But slowly that's changing. But see, I'm back and forth. You know, it's definitely been way harder. Like kids just change everything.
Yes, they do.
And that's like the ultimate understatement. But in a good way. Like I want to be home. You know what I mean? Like I've always wanted to be home, hang with my wife. But now it's like, you know, if your daughter's there, like it's not like, okay, well maybe I'll work late. It's like, no, I have to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to. Just different mentality shift.
Well, I was thinking about Chapel Hill because I saw your that new mural that y'all are doing.
Yeah.
With college Michael Jordan, which is really cool, man. I think.
Thank you.
But yes, the bigger issue there is that you know, you and I have talked about this stuff before, and you've always had this sort of ongoing thought process about, you know, growing or not growing or like, man, it's I commend you for what seems to me from the outside looking in, finding a good balance in your life now that you do have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's hard to find that in the restaurant business, and you bring young children into it, man. It's a tough thing. I mean, I still all the time. I think, you know, I got 3 kids. They grow fast. I'm looking at my daughter right there. She's sitting out there on her phone. She's 17, junior in high school. Man, I mean, I remember when she was 4 like that, Bret. But I'm glad you think that way, because you're a young enough man to still, and she's young enough that you can still, you know, enjoy as much of that time, because you can't get it back, and it goes fast, and it's a good thing, man. Like, I'm glad you're not having to fly all over the country and deal with issues with your 58th opening or whatever, and you're like never home.
Yeah. But then do you, and you know, that's a pop, but then do you regret not doing that? Like, you know, I just was talking to a guy 10 minutes ago who, you know, his business is helping set up franchise systems, and he's on me all the time. I mean, there's no pressure, but he's like, look, man, like you've already done 2, your processes are in place, your product's there. This is what franchising was made for, your business. Let's do it. But, you know, I started sort of wrestle that. It's like, I don't know, should there just be 1 or 2 Sup Dogs? You know, I mean, that's what makes it cool. You know, you start to get into 10, 20, you know, does it get cheesy? And then does it just take over your life where you just are like, why am I doing this? So
yeah, it's hard to scale.
It's the same problem with you guys. You know, I mean, you guys are leaving a lot of money on the table and a lot of opportunity, not going after Outback Steakhouse or, you know what I mean? Big chains.
You know, I years ago, I wrote a blog post. It was, I think the title was why we left $250,000 and a million headaches on the table. And it was a chain that, you know, wanted to use Schedulefly and wanted to roll it out in a pilot for like 20 locations, and then roll it out to however many they had, some big number. And, you know, it would have been like 250 grand a year for that size. And we were like, no. And the guy was like, what do you mean no? Like, you don't say no to us. Like, and we were like, no, we're not, like, literally, we're not going to serve you. Like, we're not going to take that opportunity, because the million headaches piece was what we knew would come with it. And then it would just take over our business and take over our lives. And we knew we'd be looking back, well, why did we do that? Like, now it's no fun. It's not special. It's not unique. It's not. And now they kind of, you know, it's just, the business has absorbed us, and it's stressful. And, you know, man, I've come to learn, like, I mean, we don't have to get into some big philosophical thing, but my general, I just literally was emailing with my English teacher from high school. Like, we've stayed in touch, because he really taught me the value of reading good fiction and learning to write well. And I told him yesterday that, you know, I used to think that money was like what would solve things and make you happier and all this kind of stuff. And I've come to realize, like, you need to have enough, like, so you're not worrying about it all the time.
Yeah.
but time is my currency now. No doubt about it. Like, no doubt about it. It's not even a debatable. I mean, if you got enough, then you're not worried. Then what do you more, but then like, so like, what do you do
Yeah.
with like, like, what do you do with all that? And
Yeah.
if you sacrifice, oh, well, now I have it all, but my kid's gone, going to college, like, okay,
well, and the bigger you get, the more risk you have to take. So it's like, if you're expanding and you're, putting a couple $1,000,000 into expanding, I don't know. It's an easy way to sort of just lose it all if things go south.
well,
So having a daughter, I've become a little more risk adverse. Not a lot, but definitely more than I was before we had her.
or you take somebody else's money and then to expand,
Yeah.
right? And to minimize your risk, but then you've got the stress of like, okay, now I've got to try to make a good return on this person's.
Yeah, I have zero desire to do that for someone else. In fact, I weirdly, some people are like, want investment money and all that. I don't know. I weirdly like resent it. Like, I don't know why. So wait, you want me to do all the work so you can make money? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where a lot of people are like fighting for investment dollars. I'm like annoyed by it. If the bank's not going to give us money, leave me alone. That's kind of how I feel, but that could change tomorrow. I don't know. But that's kind of my initial reaction to all that.
Yeah. Well, we certainly share that, but man, it's if you can find, we've been doing this 14 years and we've really, we've just found over these years a good balance of, and we're lucky too, because we don't have investors, we don't have to hire a bunch of salespeople and marketing people. We didn't have to do anything during COVID other than just take great care of y'all and just, wait to see where the dust settled. And so there's a lot of fortunate things that have come with that. But yeah, those are real, like a lot of times it's just, we just push growth so much. And I love America. I love the capitalist society. I love all the benefits we get from that. But there's that line of like, where it's just always about growth.
Yeah.
Come on.
People probably say it to you guys, like, well, what's next? What's
all the time?
It's like, what do you mean what's next? I'm operating this crazy business right now. Like,
yeah. Like there's never lack for any, look, we but it's not the way we're supposed to think, I guess. Like, it's not the way our culture wants us to think, because everything that's promoted is always these great stories of, well, I had my one restaurant location and then we went, and the next thing, we grew and grew and now we have 500 and I'm, that's the stories you hear, but the stories that I like, that we've always told are the ones like y'all's, like, I've got this one place, this two places. It's really special to me and to my family, or I'm third generation, owner of this business, or I started this business after working as a busser and then a cook. And then, like all those are the stories, like, those are just awesome. And they're not the, almost everybody we serve. Really, almost everybody we serve, that's the story. It's not, I want to take this and take over the world. It's, I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love the people we serve. I love my community. I've got, I think the largest customer we have might have like, I don't know, 12, 15 locations, which is like really big for us. Like, I'm surprised they still use us, but like, that's really the thing. It's not and so I guess we relate really well to the way a lot of our customers run their businesses. And I've just always admired that about you, because I think you do have one of those concepts that could probably just, your dude, your franchise guy could take that, but then what? Like,
and you're just setting your, I don't know, a lot could go wrong. But you know, it could go right. I don't know. Yeah. And another thing is, I mean, you could still do it 10 years from now, right? Like
Yep.
what's I don't know. I don't think there's a rush. Plus, look, you know, if you do a lot of volume and you work, like actually work in the restaurant, like you can make a lot of money and be comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna have like a beachfront mansion, but you won't stay up at night worrying about your mortgage. So and that goes back to what you're saying. It's like, you know, if you're comfortable financially, you know, why risk it? Especially if you have kids. And if your passion's not, you know, I talked to a guy, you know, like a year or so ago, and he had like 8 or 9 restaurants and was, you know, opening more of one concept, and it just kind of hit him at once. He's like, what am I doing? It's like, I'm not going to be the next the next world's greatest restaurateur. It's like, that's not going to happen. I'm not, you know, you know, I'm not the owner of Starbucks. Like, I'm not going to be him. So what's the point? Let's just hyper focus on what we do.
I think that there's probably a lot more people thinking like that after the last year, because one of the things too is you get caught up in you don't even have time to stop and think about stuff like that, sort of philosophical stuff, right? Because you're just go, 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 go. And now we got to open. And so I think a lot more people have sort of just had time to check themselves and realize what really matters. And I don't know, we'll see. I mean, that stuff tends to sound great at the time, and then you kind of, things get back and you kind of get back to whatever. But yeah, we're you know, man, we are definitely, I'm so thankful that all 4 other guys, like we're all, which is rare, like we're all on the same page with that stuff. And that's worked out really well. But
look, with that being said, you know, when opportunities open up, it's like I say this today, but then, you know, I'm already looking at building for a 3rd location because it could be an opportunity that's too good to pass up. So
yeah,
as opportunities come up, it's like the mentality switches pretty quickly. Because I do think, you know, it hasn't really hit yet, but there's all the money that's just gotten dumped into dumped on businesses for a good reason. I think once a lot of that shakes out, there is going to be a lot of opportunity, whether it's in real estate or opening up new locations or.
Yeah.
So I want to be in a position where we can take advantage of that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, you're doing, look, that's good. And you will, but you're doing it on your pace. And man, I mean, it's a big deal to be able to do that yourself and not have other people that have opinions that maybe not the same. And then you know, partnerships, investors, whatever, that stuff gets so challenging, Brett. So
plus that next thing, and everyone's like, what's next? If there is a next thing, like you're talking about something. That's how I feel. If I'm opening another location, or you just literally have to go all in and just be consumed by it 24 hours a day. And that's such a huge, like, physical and mental commitment. I mean, shoot. I mean, we're short staffed. I was running food and grinding in the restaurant. Feet hurt so bad I couldn't even barely walk the next day. Like, I'm still doing that. And I thought I was past that, but you know, crazy time. I'm not. I'm back in that.
Have you have I ever talked to you about that little short story, The Fisherman in the NBA?
I'm not sure. It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
I'll send it to you. It's like this fisherman that lives in this village, and you know, has time every day for a nap, and he spends time with his kids, and he's a really good fisherman. This NBA is there on vacation, and he's like, man, you should buy another boat and grow it and blah blah blah. And he has this whole thing about how he scales up his business and winds up making tons of money and selling the business. And the guy's like, well, then what would I do? And he's like, well, you could spend time with your kids and take naps. It's like all this stuff he does.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's a good one. I read it every now and then just to remind myself, like, but
I think this conversation we're having, what all small businesses have, you know what I mean? They want to get bigger, they want to make more money, but wait, I don't want the headaches of getting bigger and making more money. So what do I do?
Yeah.
I think everyone's kind of all, not just restaurants, but all small businesses are sort of thinking like this.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good to think about it, and it's good to think about it before you go down that path and really learn, what really matters. A lot of people don't have that opportunity, especially when you do have partners or investors or whatever. There's no, so, well, look, man, you're in the finals.
Yeah.
And so the way and when does the voting start?
Starts Wednesday at 3 p.m. and it goes until Friday at 8 p.m. So anytime, if you're on Twitter, if you just tweet #BestBarSupDogs, anytime between Wednesday at 3 p.m. and Friday at 8 p.m., it's a vote that gets counted for us. And, if we're crowned best college bar in America by Barstool Sports, just incredibly invaluable for our business. So we're hoping to take it down.
So Wednesday, the 31st at 3 Eastern. Okay. So if you do it before, then it won't count. So you got to wait. Yes. Okay. What is the hashtag again?
Just Best Bar Sup Dogs.
Best Bar Sup Dogs. And you guys, you went against a bar in Wrightsville Beach, didn't you? Like in this.
Yeah, we did. It was a place called Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people love that place. So you might hear some people coming in because I'm in a co-working space. But it was like a beach bar, and we were up against them, and they were cool. They got a lot of votes. Like there was a second there, I'm like, man, maybe they're gonna beat us. But because they had all of UNC Wilmington and all the people that visited Wrightsville Beach, but we ended up winning that pretty easily. So I think we're the favorite going into the finals, but you never know. Aaron Rodgers comes out and gives them a big push. We might be in trouble.
All right, man. Well, good luck. I can't wait to find out. So how do you announce it? Like, I mean, if you win, like when do you announce it?
Like Friday, right after 8 p.m., like just Barstool Sports will put it out there on their Twitter and Instagram. And so that's how we'll find out, just like everyone else.
That's awesome, man. All right. Well, good. Hey, I tell you what, if I send you, I haven't sent you some hats and socks in a little while. If I send you a box of hats and socks, can I trade you for one of those awesome sweatshirts?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just don't let me forget. Text me your address so I can ship it out. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it.
Consider it done, man. Good luck.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you. All right.
Take care. All right. See you.